This creepy story has been, and still is happening in the mystical house of my friend. It all started 50 years ago, when a dysfunctional family lived in this house, a mother, father, and their only son. Since childhood, the boy suffered from a severe mental disorder and often fell into inexplicable fits of rage. At those times, he could harm himself and others. The parents did their best to isolate and shield their son from the outside world. They surrounded the entire property with a high stone fence, with barbed wire, turning it into a real cage. The boy was forbidden to leave the house grounds, and he had no friends. One late evening, a loud argument broke out between the boy's mother and father. The parents' shouts woke up the son. Boy had another uncontrollable fit of anger. In a state of insanity, he grabbed an axe from the kitchen and struck his mother in the back. The woman fell dead in a pool of blood. The father was horrified by what happened, but could do nothing. The son pinned him against the wall and held the axe to his throat, threatening to kill him too. After a few minutes, the son calmed down and realized what he had done. He threw away the bloody axe and ran to his room in hysterics. The next day, the father found his son dead. The boy had hanged himself out of guilt and grief. Shaken by the tragedy, the widowed man decided to leave this cursed house as soon as possible. He sold the house to the first person he met for a pittance and moved to another city to start a new life. A couple of years later, a young couple moved into the empty house. Almost immediately, strange things started happening in the house. At night, incomprehensible sounds, creaks and rustles were heard, as if someone was walking around the house. The girl sometimes noticed some movement from the corner of her eye, but when she turned around, no one was there. One night, the guy woke up feeling like someone was choking him in his sleep. He could barely open his eyes and saw someone's dark figure next to him, which disappeared as soon as he turned his head. In the morning, red marks resembling fingerprints were found on his neck. The newlyweds tried their best to find logical explanations for everything that was happening, convincing themselves that they were imagining things out of fatigue. But over time, the house put more and more pressure on them, constantly arousing feelings of anxiety and fear. After 6 months, the young couple could not withstand this nightmare and moved out of the house, breaking up their relationship. Each of them separately came to the conclusion that this house with its gloomy atmosphere was to blame. A few years later, the house was purchased by another family, a husband, wife, and their 8-year-old son. The new owner decided to completely rebuild the house, leaving only the foundation. However, the renovation could not get started. There were constant problems. Construction equipment broke down, tools went missing, workers got into freak accidents. In addition, problems arose in the family, frequent arguments over trivial things, illnesses, bad moods. The parents noticed oddities in their son's behavior. He suddenly started talking to himself, and at night he began having nightmares. The boy complained that in his dreams he saw an evil aunt who threatened to kill everyone. Once the boy ran to his mother in hysterics, claiming he had just seen the evil aunt strangle his dad, right in the kitchen. Of course, the father was alive and well, but this incident overflowed the cup of patience. Soon the spouses sold the house at a similar price and divorced. The wife left with the son for another city. The new owners of the cursed house were my friend's parents, along with 2 children. From day one, creepy things started happening in the house. For example, when my friend's mom looked in the mirror in their new bedroom, instead of herself, she saw some gloomy girl with floor-length black hair and a deranged smile on her face. The woman nearly fainted from horror. Every night, sinister sounds are heard in the house, footsteps, creaks, moans, and once even a child's crying. Once my friend woke up to loud knocking on the window and saw someone's silhouette outside the glass. When the father ran out into the yard, he found no one there, nor any footprints. In the 4 years they've lived there, 3 fires have occurred in the house for no apparent reason. Especially creepy things happen in the parents' bedroom. Even their cat stopped going in there, although before it used to always sleep on their bed. When my friend's 4-year-old brother accidentally ran into that room, he suddenly burst into tears and screamed, "Auntie, let me go. Don't." He couldn't be calmed down for a long time and explain what happened. The boy just kept repeating, "The bad aunt came again." So this house continues to harbor grim secrets and terrorize its inhabitants for decades. It seems the ghosts of this place's tragic past have never found peace. My friend and her family still live in this house, despite all the creepy events. The girl told me this story and honestly admitted they are afraid to stay here, but cannot yet afford to buy or rent another place.